I think it's sad. You grew up, and my whole life as a player, as a coach, has been in the Tri-Rivers Conference. You've developed a lot of relationships through the years. When you go on the road, you see games. Not only you see people you played against, people you maybe have worked with that have gone to different schools. There's just so many different things that kind of a lot of mixed emotions about. I know a lot of good people over in the Grand Rivers from different committees and things that I'm on. There's a lot of great people over there too. It's just anyone knows anything about me will know that I'm not one that goes by it's a new vehicle or something. If I've had it for a while, it's mine and I like it, and that's kind of the way the conference has been with me through the years. So whether it's football or baseball or going to a track meet or especially going to a lot of basketball games through the years, that's I guess they say all good things come to an end sometimes, but it's unfortunate that's where it's gone. But I also learned a long time ago you can't worry about things you can control and things you can't control, and this is one of those things I can't control.
Okay, let's talk a little football. Your football team has not lost a regular season game in, 4 years now. You're the 800-pound gorilla. Everybody has your name circled, your game schedule circled on their schedule. What are your thoughts about that?
We've been doing, pretty well, and, I would assume that, that goes with the territory. So, we've got each week circled as well. So, we're not the only ones circling games on schedule. So, we look to try to get ready each week and take whatever the task is at hand and put together a game plan, worry about whatever game we're on at that particular time, and then we move to the next step.
You lost a lot of players from last year. It's time for some younger players on your squad to step up.
We've been pretty fortunate the last few years. We've been graduating pretty big classes for about 4 straight years, double digits in senior participants. This last year, we're no different. I think it was like 16. We've got a lot of new kids that have got to step up. It's almost like the salary cap hit us. We've got a lot of great young talent. It's just no one knows their name. Nobody, they're going to have to step up and get involved with what we're doing. And I look forward to that, seeing them get out there and get some experience. With that being said, there's a lot of good experience still there as well. So it'll be a little bit of a mix. And I think the guys who have experience will, just based off the things we've done this summer, one practice we've had, they are fantastic, almost like other coaches, extensions of coaches, helping everybody out, clean something up, a mistake here, there. And you're seeing that early. Where are you going to be come late October? You're going to be hopefully a fairly well-oiled machine, and everybody's on the same page getting better. And staying healthy, of course, makes a big difference as well.
That's the way your seniors have really done the last couple of years. They've taken the leadership role, and they don't want to let this get this train off the track. It's been on such a good roll. They want to take responsibility for this, don't they?
Well, I think so. I think so. We never really talk about anything but the game we're on. We understand things we've accomplished, but we've got to worry about last year was last year. This is this year, and it's nice to sit around and reminisce or whatever, but once you start it off, it's time to keep everybody grounded, keep everybody, from not getting soft with any amount of success. They know that's not going to happen, and that's something we've just got to continually work and strive for. And just, it sounds so cliche-ish. I've said it to you for 4 years, but we've just got to work on whoever we're playing that week and just move on from that point.
The success of your team the last few years has basically been that big offensive line. They make the holes, they make the offense look good. What's your offensive line look like this year?
We'll return 3 starters from that football team last year, and they were all sophomores, so they're going to be juniors. We're going to have them for 2 more years for the most part. Derek Sylvester returns. He was an all-state performer on offensive line. We've got Ian Russell returning, and as far as Jericho Morris was another tackle, will be returning. So we've got a lot of other kids that are new faces going to be added to that. John Coronado has been a kid that's just up and coming as a guard. who's done a great job just coming up and playing his minutes how it is, and understands the system, which makes a big difference. And so they just jump right in, and we just try to hopefully just keep fine-tuning everything, and just because it all starts up front, and with those guys, good things can happen if those guys can make the holes.
Talking about your backfield, your skill positions, talking about those guys.
Now, we do graduate a lot of people from there, which has kind of been our song every year. You go from Aaron Richardson or Mason Thompson, and you go right into Kevin D. Reich, then you go right into we used a lot last year, Luis Pacheco, Kyler Curtis. When those guys, each group, though, when it's been their time to step up, have done a great job and take advantage of that opportunity when they get it. And so not just those kids individually, just as a team, when there's an opportunity there, man, jump on it, seize it. It's kind of been one of our little themes. And so each kid needs to also understand when it's their opportunity to do that as well. So now's the time. He's going to be a junior. Jaden Watts is a kid that played a little bit at halfback some last year. He'll return. Austin Fordyce will be also another running back there. You'll have Ethan Hersberg. You'll have Colton Fordyce. I'm trying to do this all off the top of my head, but yeah, you'll have some kids. Wyatt Boley filled in a lot last year at quarterback when Stahlbaumer got hurt and just kept things going. We returned him at quarterback, so we've got some experience there. And out at receiver, we've got Dalton Stover, who understands this, things that we're doing, and has looked great this summer and looked great at practice. And so we're really looking forward to, like any other year, seeing the new guy step up. And it's just like if somebody got hurt during a regular season game, the next man up. So we're, next man up. It's time for you to seize that opportunity and go out and make a name for yourself.
And in some of those games the last few years, you've won by a large margin. You've been able to get a lot of kids playing time, actual game experience. Mm-hmm. How important is that for people who, they just get a game or two or just a few minutes here and there? That's huge, isn't it?
I think it's big, especially if, sometimes your schedule has teams that, 72 hours later go, we're not going to be able to play JV Friday night or Monday night. And so those kids get shorted a JV game here and there because of either injury or whatever it might be as the season wears on. So, yeah, if you're missing some JV games, you better hope they get some action on a Friday night. So, that's been big. It's just getting some experience and going out and, having fun with what they're doing. And but each group that we've had has been able to kind of do that. So, you don't really want to change a whole lot. You kind of keep grounded to your philosophies and different things. But it's each team is like I've got 3 kids, and they're all different. So each team that we've had, this is a different type of team as well. So we just got to keep working and seeing where we can get to. But we just cannot look ahead like any other time. Just keep staying on where we're at. Within our own, what we do, we can't get too far ahead. We're going to do what we do, get it down before we even add or move on to anything new ourselves.
Defensively, I know you got a lot of people who play both ways. You got to get guys on offense that will play in defense, but your defense has been steady, and over the last few years, they've been right there.
Yeah, we graduate quite a few people from that team as well. But we have people in each position coming back from those, so it's not completely, totally depleted from a defensive standpoint. Watts started some linebacker for us last year. Austin Fordyce started back there. Like I said, Wyatt Boley played pretty much a good majority of the year back there, so he's comfortable back there. We have to replace some people, though. I mean, we've got Bodie Eaglin was an all-stater defensive lineman. All-conference performers also, like in all-district, and Caleb Davidson was a kid up front, Tyler Smith up front. So we hope that we can get these guys. Matt Oxendale is another one you've got to replace at a linebacker and a tight end. But our outside linebackers, we had graduate as well from Palacios to Curtis. I mean, we've got some – we don't return a whole lot of quote-unquote starters. So, but we'll have to get those next men to be ready to step in and plug those spots.
One of the things your defense has been noted for, though, over the last few years is you put pressure on the other team. You take the action to them.
Well, I think too it helps if you're a last year's linebackers, last year, the year before that's linebackers, defensive linemen, whatever. Um, there's not a lot of standing around and reading. If it's a young kid's inexperienced, make him do something. Make him take a pressure. Make him, run and react, and not stand around and let some people attack you. So we're kind of that's kind of been what we do, and just not stand around a whole lot.
And at times, people, when they see that pressure, they go, we'll attack your secondary. And your guys have stepped up back there. They get a lot of interceptions. They get a lot of, make things happen back there. And they really don't get a lot of notice.
Well, it's, those kids, you put them out there and they do a good job. And, we've got some real nice kids that have graduated. We've got some kids that will come in. I think we'll still do a great job out there covering that. And I have a lot of confidence in them. So with Stover and Boley, and for starters, and they'll do a good job. And, things have got to be thrown real well, real precise, real perfect. And they're good cover guys. Unless they just flat slip and fall, they're usually right there with people. So, but it's a game. It's like any other game. Teams make plays, and you've just got to keep making more plays than the other team.
How do you see the conference race?
I think it's wide open. I just see it kind of like it was last year. I think everybody. There's some teams that obviously graduate some people as well. But we all, still return a pretty fair amount of people. So, I've been worrying about us more than anything. And just to ask me that off the top of my head, I know just judging by some of the people you've already talked to just on your website and things like that, I know Knox returns some linemen. They'll have some backs and stuff they'll return. And Scotland returns a truckload of kids as well. They'll have a new coach and a new style. I think Schuyler's still got a lot of backs and everything returning as well. So, and Putnam, I think, returns still quite a few kids as well, too. I know they lose some speed in their backfield just like we do, but I'm sure they'll replace it as well. So, it could be real interesting. It could be like any other year, man. You've got to keep your people healthy, or you're maybe not quite as powerful as you normally would be.
You've been doing this a long time. What's the one thing you've learned along the way, maybe from when you first started coaching to now? How has this game changed? How have you changed as a coach?
I don't think the preparation has changed any. It's still blocking and tackling. And if there was one per se offense or defense to use, I think we'd all be doing it. But you've got to kind of go with your different philosophies and how you want to go about things. And it's just kind of you can talk all you want about. Everybody listens to Chip Kelly or Oregon, and they think of this when Marcus Mariota and the teams that pass. If you watch them or you've watched a West Strand team in the past, those teams run the football. They make the highlight of the pass might make the highlight reel, but, they are a team that runs the football quite a bit. And so through the years, probably, as an old quarterback myself, I've probably changed quite a bit from, you still try to want to be as balanced as you can, but I also have become a big believer in those teams that can dominate the line of scrimmage and take care of the football and not give it back to you and hold on to it and run the football. And then from that point on, just don't have any hiccups on special teams and just continually play solid defense. You're gonna be in every ball game and you're gonna be right there. Anyone who's there'd be years where you'd sit there and you'd be behind in a game, and so you're behind, you're chucking it and throwing it, and another pick here and another pick here, and it gets pretty ugly, and that'll happen if you get behind. But when you throw the ball, two things of those are bad. So you've heard that a long time. But and quarterbacks have to be real patient. We'll throw the ball more than you think if you ever sit down and ask our quarterbacks here. It's just sometimes we'll come out throwing, and you won't be expecting it. Other times it'll be more off a reaction the defense has given us, and we'll go with it. But we're not, our quarterbacks aren't going to necessarily rush for 1,000, throw for 1,000, but we're kind of like your old style 70s kind of quarterback, really. They're going to would demand to be a great leader on your team, and they're very precise when you ask them to do their job, and that's kind of what we're looking for. But somebody emerges and something's fantastic. I remember a Centralia team, an old wing T team, Centralia, back in the early 2000, 2001. I mean, they really opened it up and started throwing the ball. I'm not afraid to do that as well either. Late in the year last year, we threw the ball quite a bit. So we were able to do those kind of things. So, but overall, I think just coaching and everything. Whether you get film on disc or you had it on VHS, or now it's all huddled on, almost like an email version or whatever. That film still has to be broken down, and that film still has to get your team prepared and what to expect that week. And that has never changed. That has always been a hallmark thing, ready to go each week. And so your kids, I think the more as each year builds, I think I always tell my young coaches, take my advice on this. It's not what we know on Friday night. It's what the kids know who play out there. And it can't be, I told you this, I told you that. You've got to keep doing those reps so when it happens in that game, you are ready when that time comes to execute whatever a team may be trying to do. So if we could just tell somebody what to expect, we wouldn't practice. We just have a chalkboard meeting. So, but you've got to not only go over the different learning styles, you've got to get it on the board, go out and execute it, watch it on some film as well. And so when that time comes and you actually step out there, the game's easy on Friday night.
One final question. I forgot all about this. You graduated your All-State kicker.
Yeah.
He was a weapon because you could use him whenever. Do you have anybody to take his place?
Well, I don't know if you can replace Raul. You're going to try to get as close as like any of our athletes that graduate. The next man up has got to – you've got that mold. Try to execute – try to do as well as you can, get as close to that person as you can. We've got a couple kids that have all been down there kicking. We've got some legs. There's no doubt about that. It's just kicking a football is a little new. So we'll see what we can come up with. I hate to mention a whole bunch of names because I've got a ton of kids down there kicking. But we've just got to keep practicing a little bit. And, it doesn't look too bad, but which one's going to emerge from that, I don't know. But, we'll be okay in that department. I mean, I hope we can manage that as well as we can, but it's going to be hard to replace a kid like Raul Palacios. A record-setting kid, that's going to be tough to replace. But the kids that are coming up are going to be like when Raul was young. They're going to have some years each year to get better. It's not just this is their final season. They're going to have this year and the next years to try to, continually get better as well.